Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Anderson, Clean Power Wash, Salisbury, Maryland. It's getting late. Tried to do this video earlier, but just couldn't really um, put it out the way that I wanted to. Anyways, over the weekend, somebody was posting questions about being able to have some sort of an indicator light on their equipment to know if they were pulling soap or not, which is a great question, and I looked at doing that when I had my 12-volt system. Um, you just throw an inline bulb. It's pretty simple. But the reason why this person was concerned about it was because he was operating a boom lift and didn't have anybody else with him. He was working solo. I pointed out, plain and simple, it's just there's no excuse to be working by yourself in a lift off the ground. Just plain and simple. I mean, no, there's really and truly, it's not a matter of, oh, I'm doing this in a parking lot or I'm doing this on the side of a mountain. That doesn't matter. Um, and it doesn't matter for a lot of reasons. Um, if you're up in a lift, you should always have a ground person. Oh shit, if they show up and you don't have a ground person, that's going to be in big trouble. And let's be clear, because somebody's going to be like, well, I saw you do this or that. Am I 100% OSHA compliant all the time? No. I don't think any of us are. Because this is common sense, and that there's a lot of negative and really bad things that can happen if you don't have somebody else out there with you when you're in a lift. We've used several different, I've used a full articulating boom lift. I've used one of those kind of a quasi scissor all-terrain, up a steep embankment, all kinds of stuff with that, and a couple of other things. And each time I had at least one or two ground guys. And let's be real clear on this. This doesn't need to be an employee as your ground guy. This needs to be somebody that you know that has a pulse and can understand hand gestures and on-off switches. I didn't have any, I couldn't get my other employee couldn't work. Or if if you're a solo entrepreneur, you got to know somebody that can come out there. You got to have a friend or family member or girlfriend, that dude down the street, your next door neighbor, somebody. Even if you're in a brand new town and you don't know many people, because there's no excuse. If you got hired by a company to go do some work and you're going to be elevated, get somebody to help you out. It's just plain and simple. It's common sense. The other big issue, obviously, other than safety and the whole thing falling down and killing you or getting you severely injured, you run into electric wire or something like that. That's always an issue. And again, the scenario or situation where you're using the lift does not matter. It's just plain and simple. It's foolish, it's dangerous, and there's no justification for operating a boom lift by yourself. The other big thing is safety for your equipment. This guy was asking about it to know whether or not his machine was pumping soap. Depending on what height you're at, certain equipment's just not going. If you're downstream and you get above, 40 or 50 feet high, or sometimes 30 feet high, it's not going to pull that well, if at all. So you've got to modify some things. And that's where, again, having somebody that can understand, hey, yep, soap on, cut the machine off, whatever. Again, it's a no-brainer. If you've got a job that you've had to rent a $300,000 to $500,000 piece of equipment, you've got the $50 to $100 to pay somebody to be out there with you for the day to be able to shut your equipment off if something's not working or to check something. They don't have to have a massive amount of understanding, but, oh no, this thing starts smoking, what do I do? Turn it off. Oh, this thing catches fire. Turn it off. If you're up in a lift, you're spraying the other direction. All of a sudden, you finally realize after spraying for 3 or 4 minutes, something just doesn't seem right, or you smell something or whatever. You turn around, see there's an issue, you go down, and you're like, oh crap. So you stop spraying, you start, lowering the boom depending on how it's set up or where you're at. You got to go all the way down, got to get unhooked, get out of there, then go over to your equipment, wherever it may be, probably not right next to your lift, and then get it shut off. And in that time frame, it can go from just a simple something overheating, or let's just say your pressure hose or your chem hose springs a leak, because that's the difference between a very minor issue and something huge going wrong on a job site, and all because you don't have any friends, you don't have anybody that you can rely on. Oh, I'm super tough. I'm the only one who can work hard and do this. Guys, it's just dumb. Don't ever get in a lift without having somebody else there. End of story. And anybody who wants to say that, oh, well, it depends on the situation, it doesn't. I mean, guys, if I was that desperate, if I had no employees, so I'm going to ask my mom, I'm going to ask my wife, I'm going to ask my kids, or not my kids are too young. But even that, my 12-year-old could do a better job of helping me out than having nobody there. Or the homeless person on the side of the street, hey man, I'll give you $50, I'll give you $40 and a warm meal, if you just come out and just make sure that I'm okay with this job. That's it. And somebody's going to trade that small trade-off because of whatever false, incorrect notions that they have in their mind that it's not necessary. So again, if you're getting off the ground on anything other than a ladder, get somebody out there to be with you. It's super cheap, and it needs to happen. So be safe, guys. This will kind of take 21. Have a great day.